The Master Demigod has returned once again to talk about everyone's favorite game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. In all seriousness though, if you like Odyssey and watch my videos, that's totally fine. You're entitled to your own opinion. I personally don't like it very much at all. But if you do, don't feel like I'm insulting you or whatever when I make these videos making fun of Odyssey. In fact, those of you who love Odyssey but watch those videos and laugh at them anyway, I really respect you because I'd probably hate me too if I was a big Odyssey fan watching my videos. But I just wanted to clear that up because there's a lot of angry people in the comments of those videos. But anyway, the topic of this video is how the realism of the Assassin's Creed series changed in Odyssey. Now, realism isn't really a huge deal to me, especially in a series like Assassin's Creed that isn't supposed to be fully realistic. I mean, you're reliving your ancestors' memories to search for an artifact that can control the world. However, I feel with every Assassin's Creed game, there was always a mutual understanding between the games as to what is realistic for this series and its world and what's not. There was always a line that wasn't crossed, and I think the line was violated a little with Origins. You could tell they were trending into the fantasy genre more, and Odyssey, well, Odyssey took that line and pretty much blew it up. Odyssey just took it too far, and I mean, even Valhalla now has taken some of that fantasy inspiration from Odyssey, especially with Asgard and everything. Assassin's Creed isn't a fantasy series. Sure, it's not completely submerged in realism, but it was to some degree realistic in the sense that there didn't used to be glowing weapons, skins with lava pouring out of them, even if it does look really cool. It doesn't at all capture the setting. What happened to being a guy in just a normal robe and hood? Now we're dressing up like robots, riding our unicorns into battle, and it's so far removed from what Assassin's Creed is and what it's about. Obviously, the fact that we don't even play as an assassin in Odyssey is something in it of its own. I mean, even Watch Dogs Legion had at least that. But it's also the fact that we are playing as a literal demigod. If you want a demigod game so badly, then why are you making it an Assassin's Creed game? Everyone says this, and it's absolutely true. Odyssey would be well received if it was just its own original IP and not part of the Assassin's Creed series. Part of me still feels like that was originally the case because what little Assassin's Creed elements are included feel tacked on and useless. I think the reason for Odyssey being given the Assassin's Creed title is quite obvious: the name recognition and the money, of course, and it's quite sad that that is what Assassin's Creed has come to. I mean, if you try and ignore the fact that Odyssey is an Assassin's Creed game, or maybe it's the first game in the series you've played, then I can see why some people like it and don't mind that it's not really an AC game. But trying to compare this game to the earlier games of the series is just impossible. You can't tell these games are from the same series. Everything iconic and associated with Assassin's Creed is gone in Odyssey. There's not even a hidden blade. The demigod powers, or abilities if you would, are probably the most ridiculous and unrealistic part of the game. You can turn invisible, teleport, take absolutely zero fall damage, disintegrate bodies when you kill them. You can literally summon Celebrimbor out here like it's Middle Earth. I understand how jumping off rooftops and stabbing people with a hidden blade or having a concealed wrist gun in the 1400s isn't realistic, but you cannot use that as justification for the powers in Odyssey. It's not the same thing at all, and again, if you like the powers and all that, good for you, but as a big fan of the series, it's really irritating. Imagine if your favorite series just completely changed the formula so you couldn't even recognize it anymore, and it lost everything that made that series so fun and special to you. Ubisoft has been doing this more and more lately with a lot of their series. Far Cry is sort of starting to trend down that path as well, if you see how the realism has changed since Far Cry 2, but at least Far Cry hasn't gone too far and it's kept the core of what makes the series so good. Whereas Assassin's Creed has completely changed everything that made it unique and special, and the realism is a big part of that. Another really annoying thing to me personally are the physics, which look floaty, light, and just wacky. You hit someone with a heavy attack and they go flying like 30 feet. You can Spartan kick people and send them flying into the next stratosphere. I know a lot of people like the Spartan kick, but the physics and animations in this game is just a whole new low for the series. I actually watched a video recently. It was sword experts reacting to combat in the Assassin's Creed games, and I remember they were quite impressed with how realistic and weighty the combat looked, and then it just gets to Odyssey and they just are like, what is going on? I thought that just about perfectly sums up the trend of this series. I'll leave a link to that video if you guys want to check it out, because it's such a perfect representation. Like, as soon as Odyssey comes up, all their praise for how good the combat looks in these games just completely evaporates. And obviously, another really frustrating part about Odyssey are the damage sponge enemies. I mean, you can slash these guys multiple times in the throat so much that you think it would decapitate them. And then you look and they still got like 50% of their health. This is why so many people prefer Ghost of Tsushima's style of combat, because it's actually realistic and you kill enemies with a slash or two. In Odyssey, it's like you gotta kill them about 70 times before they actually die, which is also really ironic to think about because you're a demigod with this godlike strength, and yet it takes that long to kill normal Spartans and stuff. I mean, let's be real here. Connor would mess up Alexios or Cassandra, because how you gonna be a demigod and still take that long to kill mere mortals? I think Valhalla is quite clearly a little better. It's certainly more realistic than Odyssey, but in no way is it like the old games in terms of realism. Even Origins pushed it in some parts as well, but oh well. Thank you guys for staying with me on this rant. These videos are quite literally like a form of therapy to me, where I can just unload everything I dislike about this game. But again, if you like the game, that's totally cool. It's not like I have a legion of assassins ready to execute you at my very command or anything.
Execute Order 66.
Nah, but for real though, I know I got a lot of Odyssey fans who still watch my videos, so respect to you guys. Anyways, if you're new here and you enjoyed the video, I've made a lot of other videos on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and a lot about Assassin's Creed in general, so consider checking out some of my previous videos and subscribing for more in the future. Other than that, thanks for watching, and have a great day, my fellow demigods.